Hey, welcome. Thanks for being with me today. I'm talking about a subject which is how to invest your creativity wisely. What does that mean? Like, how do you invest creativity and wisely? So I really want to unpack this because this is a great story that I heard from one of the guys that I was consulting. And he came to me, we were doing this session together, and he had so many options to choose from, he became paralyzed. And I run into this a lot with creatives. They are sitting here with all of these ideas and all of these dreams, and they've like got this thing in the hopper. It's almost like a bingo machine. And they're looking at all these options of avenues they could take in life, initiatives they could start, etc. And they're just paralyzed. And this is a condition that I call analysis paralysis, where a lot of thinking is done, a lot of energy is spent coming up with ideas, but nothing is actually executed on. So what I'd love for you to do, if you're struggling with this problem of investing your creativity and choosing what you're going to invest in, whether that be time or money, it doesn't just mean money when the word invest is in play. I'm actually talking about time away from your family, time away from your loved ones, building dreams, building new initiatives. How can we invest that wisely? So pump the brakes. This could be a great few minutes that could radically change every decision that you make moving forward, and that'll give you some confidence. So that's my hope for you today. So when I was talking to this one guy, and I'll keep his name generalized, I will call him Bill. Bill was struggling with the fact that he had way too many options. And as I sat there and just kind of listened to him kind of unpack things, I really started to discover that there was kind of like a desire to really want to help him build products that really help people. But I also saw as he was talking, his mouth was actually echoing his heart. And that's the interesting thing about what we say is actually echoing our true nature and our heart of where we're really coming from. With that, he was putting himself on the side. So he was definitely blessing others and helping others and building things that were going to be solutions to help and build a business out of that. But the problem was it was going to be at the sacrifice of him. So we had to implement a little bit of self-care to help him understand that he needs to be included on that. And this is one technique that I treat with entrepreneurs a lot, is they have to treat themselves as their own client. They have to take themselves to lunch. They have to spend some time journaling, etc. So I'm not going to get too much on a tangent on that, but that was one thing that I noticed that is a common thing with creatives is they don't invest in themselves before investing into others. So even though he's got all these opportunities, first make sure that you've taken care of yourself. Make sure that you are including yourself in the portfolio that you're going to be investing in. This is going to be another episode that we're going to be talking about that's going to be very powerful when it comes to self-care and soul care on yourself. But keep that in mind as you think about where you're going to invest your time and your talent and your money in terms of all of your options. One of the things that where it's analyzed or putting him in analysis paralysis was fear. Fear keeps us in a paralyzed state, thinking about everything but not committing to anything. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Failure is the key component to this fear. So here's a couple ideas of what that looks like. Fear of the unknown, of what might happen, fear of success, don't know if I was successful at this, I don't even know how to handle that, so I'm not even gonna bother, so therefore I'm not, like, you'll do that in your head, you'll start to actualize what could happen, but you're using the power of creativity to actualize what could happen rather than taking that same amount of energy, pointing it at the right target and saying, listen, I'm going to put all that energy about overcoming rather than spending most of my time making this fake movie in my head of how this could actually work out. So let's talk about the failure today. This is our problem. The problem that we're facing is failure, listen, is absolute if we are to grow and become who God called us to be. And I'm going to show you the ripple effect of these decisions when you're looking at multiple decisions on stepping out into them. It is a process, right? So watch this. If you don't fail today, here's some challenge. If you don't fail today, here's what's going to happen. It holds us back from producing fruit. Think about that today. if you don't act on this, if you don't have the risk and the willingness to fail and invest in this opportunity, it holds us back from producing fruit, being productive. Second of all, it robs us from the opportunity of blessing others, right? Third, we lose out on the eternal reward of the Lord's blessing us. So I believe, based on God putting us here on assignment, you are put on assignment. And if you step into these initiatives of being bold and stepping out into what you are called to do, that is going to then help bless others. When that happens, there's the bonus. But the other thing is it puts a smile on God's face. And that's exciting. So failure is absolute in order to do that. I use this phrase often, and it's pretty funny, but when people say, hey, what are you in the business of doing? I say, well, one of the parts that I love doing is actually helping people become professional failures. Because if you are willing to fail and are fearless about failing, your life will become dramatically different. You will have a boldness, a confidence, you'll walk differently, you'll talk differently, you'll carry yourself differently. People will also understand that there's a confidence in you as you execute on decisions. So you calculate, hey, yeah, okay, how do I decipher this decision? And I'm going to give you I wasn't planning on doing this on this video, but I'm going to give you a real quick little secret sauce. When I look at multiple opportunities, and I get a lot of them all the time, and leaders can fall in the trap of shiny things all over the place. When multiple opportunities come in, here is my filter and my measuring stick. Ready? If you take the Strength Finders 2.0, it's Now Discover Your Strengths, a great book. It's going to outline for you your 5 top strengths. Okay? So you have your 5 strengths. This is what I do. I say, okay, here's my 5 strengths. And then I put right next to it my purpose and my why. My purpose and my why is to bring hope to the world, to show the hope of God to the world through my platforms, whether I'm doing speaking or art or mentoring or workshops, writing my books, holding our conference, etc. That entire portfolio, if it matches 3 of my 5 strengths, plus glorifies God and brings people to His love, that is a great matchup for me. That's a yes for me. So that's my filter. The opportunity comes in. Okay, do I run that opportunity through the filter? Does this match 3 of my 5 strengths? Does it increase the kingdom? Does it pay eternal dividends as a result of this investment of time away from my family, whatever? Some of it might be not even God-facing, but it might be a great money revenue generator. But can I get in, get out, make as much money as I can in the littlest amount of time that I have? I want to help encourage you in your decision-making processes with multiple opportunities and where you're going to invest to stop and think, where do I create the largest amount of value in the least amount of time doing what it is I love the most? You've now created the unfair advantage for yourself, and that's exciting. In order to do that, though, and then to step into these initiatives, it's going to require you to have absolute insane overcome status. Like you're just like, failure, no problem. I'm totally willing to fail at that. So again, let's review. If you don't do it, it's going to hold you back from producing fruit. You're not going to be productive. If I say no to this, I'm not going to be productive. I don't produce fruit and dividends and blessing on people's lives. Or I'm not going to create revenue to be able to fuel the things that really matter to me. It robs the other people from receiving the blessing if you don't do it. And then third, we lose out on the bigger reward with what it has to do with our relationship with God and Him being able to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Well done, my child, as we co-labor and partner with Him in what He's called us to do on our unique genius. This takes you from being a human being, and I've talked about this before in other episodes, a human being sitting, thinking about it, dreaming about it. That's not the same as doing. Thinking and dreaming doesn't build dreams. They just remain goals that swirl around, but they have no deadlines to them. So therefore, they never get put into play and they never exist. So here's one way that I can leave you with some tangible, like practical application. I want you to imagine that you have a bag of seed, okay? And this seed you get to hold in your hand, and imagine your Heavenly Father, God, handing you this seed and saying, I get to give this to you today, And today, you can hold this out of scarcity and thinking, I'm never going to get seed again. Or I can take some and take care of my needs, feed my family. But the question is this, are you playing it safe in life in general? If you get more revenue, if you make more money, you build a great company, and you finally get stable, are you just keeping it and hoarding it? Do you find that your self-talk is all about just getting things comfortable? If I can just get to this point, then I'm good. And that literally consuming you. It's almost like become an idol to just get things stable. Or when you get seed and you get more and more seed, that comes because things amplify and do well in your life. Do you find that you start holding onto it and you're hoarding it? My challenge of what I've built my companies, and people wonder, why do you have these portfolios of opportunities, different initiatives, art and storytelling and agency work and partnering with these other ministries and speaking and conferences? Like, how come there's a diversity there? I feel that this verse totally captures the essence of it. Listen, this is in James. God's word says this, but prove yourselves doers of the word, and not merely hearers who delude themselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks at his natural face in a mirror. For once he has looked at himself and gone away, he has immediately forgotten what kind of person he was. So we have a responsibility. I have a responsibility, and that responsibility drives me. I think about the purpose on my life, which I talked about in the other videos. My purpose is his purpose. And if I'm carrying out as an ambassador of what he's called me to do in my uniqueness of, Noah, go out there and build whatever you want, go insane, make as much revenue as you can to fuel initiatives that bring people to me and glorify and fill heaven. He wants us to go nuts with whatever excites us, just like a dad would with his child. He wants to do that with you. And if you can do that and act on that, now you're becoming co-laboring and partnering with. I believe so many people have built businesses and built lives and made God an actual silent partner. And that can be trouble. And when we don't creatively find ways that we can invest our time, talent, and treasure, we're missing out on abundance that is beyond anything we could ever imagine co-laboring with Christ. So our job is to co-labor. Let's not make him a silent partner. Let's go as big as we possibly can together. And that's exciting. So I've got a question for you, a little bit of homework that you can unpack and ask yourself this. The next time you have a great opportunity come along your path, sometimes it comes up, but most of the time I've spent my life, just to let you know, 80% of my life has been going out and creating opportunity, not waiting for it to show up. So whenever it comes to you, or whenever you go after starting a new initiative and you get locked in analysis paralysis and you're locked in a little bit of a fear, I want you to stop and ask yourself this question. What is worst case scenario if my idea works? What's the downside? What's the underbelly? What's really worst case scenario? I need you to write that in your journal. Worst case scenario, if this actually works, is I'm going to make a ton of money. Well, okay, well, what's so bad about that? Well, I actually have a fear that I don't know how to handle it, and I don't even know what I would do because I'm just going to have to pay more in taxes. I've literally heard people say that out of their mouth. I don't want to make more money because I don't want to pay more in taxes. What you need to start doing is becoming fearless and going and asking and building the team as if you've already got $40, $50 million in the bank, and go and get free advice and counsel as to, hey, I'm going after initiatives where I'm going to have this windfall, and as things come in, I need to know what are the downsides, the upsides, everything I need to take into consideration. How can I work with charities, and how can I work with, listen, if you play small and just stay comfortable, you're never going to become world class if you only play to your backyard. You have to change this way that your hard drive is working, thinking differently, stepping out and becoming fearless in your approach. Ask yourself, what is worst case scenario? Now ask yourself this one. What is worst case scenario if this doesn't work out? This went flat. I just invested money. This thing went, is my reputation? Do people think I'm a fool? Do they think I'm an idiot for trying, etc.? But I'll just encourage you on this. I've spent my life as a professional failure, and I hope that you would become one too, because there's no better way to live, going to bed at night saying, hey, you know what? I failed today. But the greatest thing is I don't have to go to bed with regret. I don't have to be having that haunting, nagging, man, I regret I never acted on that, never acted on that. And every single time you toast your glass at New Year's Eve, you're going to be saying, well, this was just another rinse and repeat, same exact year, same exact rinse and repeat of the last year. So my hope to you today is that you would ask yourself, worst case scenario, get your little filter in place so that you can decipher your opportunities as they come to you, step into boldness, and invest your creativity wisely. All right? Leave me a comment down below. And if this was meaningful to you, tag a friend down below and share this with them. Because I'd love to be able to get this word out to help as many people as we possibly can step into who they're ultimately supposed to be. Thanks for spending time with me today. There's some notes down below and some more resources to be able to do life together. If you need any help, I'm here for you. Thanks for joining me today.